Passionate, absolutely passionate about the core, key, fundamental role that marketing should play in all of our businesses. Our role as marketeers, ladies and gentlemen, is about top-line growth. Yes, we need to be concerned about productivity. Yes, we need to work with the operations people on always driving cost out of the supply chain. But we have got to be about demand-led growth. And if we don't, we'll have businesses that struggle. CNC, a doubly quoted organisation, very respectable multiple and a very cautious dividend yield. Now, what's the so what of that? I'll tell you, it's this. The better you grow, the better sustainable growth you have as a business, the less you need to be offering in terms of stable returns to investors. Valued. Strong top-line growth equals higher value and everyone's happier. What's our role in that? On the core category benefits, the things that consumers really want and will pay money for, is much more important than trying to find spurious differences. And let me try. This is a measure of consumer satisfaction, or in fact dissatisfaction, by the American effectively the American Society for Consumer Satisfaction Index, in fact. And it goes from 1995 to 2003, and the interesting thing, despite the scales quite flattering, consumer satisfaction in America has barely changed a jot. It's a kind of 75% level. It says 25% of consumers are routinely buying products or routinely buying services which are not satisfying them. And if you think over that time frame, the massive innovation you've seen in internets in just about every product area, isn't that quite surprising? Why is it? And trust me, they are, because these data don't lie. These data in Europe would actually be worse. Americans tend to be slightly more optimistic and forgiving than we in Europe. Why is that happening, and what does it all mean? Well, I think, and my thesis is, and it's another sacred cow we have to slaughter, is that actually, rather than infinite variety being a good thing for consumers, they are feeling overwhelmed by it. So you take the proverbial Henry Ford quote back in the 1950s, and before that, customers can have any colour of car they want as long as it's black. Now in the world of today, there's overproduction in the car industry, in computers, steel, etc. And the result of that is that people are being barraged with a panoply of different offers. Now, we like some variety, and black clearly wasn't just the answer, but it's not clear that consumers are getting more satisfaction from it. Taking retail closer to home, a little shop in Wales, that would be, back in the 1950s, may have had at tops 500 items. A Dunnes store today will have 30,000. People are being hit with a whole barrage of choice and variety, which on the one hand is good, but if not done right, it's what consumers see as a satisfying consumer experience. And that's, I say, quite a telling thing too. And the problem is, and here's a big problem, so another sacred cow we have to sort of slaughter as marketeers, is we teach ourselves, we all think that whatever advert we put out, whatever proposition we put out, consumers are just desperate to hear from us. They really do want to know about the next flavour of crisps or the next flavour of cola or whatever else. The truth of the matter is that the real bottleneck in life at the moment, the real bottleneck that marketeers have to face isn't their production system's bottleneck, it isn't the distribution channel, it's the mind of the consumer. The consumer bandwidth, human bandwidth, is finite, that's the problem. And we can only take in so many messages. And the real so what about this is another really tough message for us marketeers. It forces us to have to be a little bit humble. And we're not good at being humble, as many of our peers will tell us in marketing. A bit humble about, well, what actually will people take in and what actually matters that much? How do I go about doing this? And if you take a bit of, just once again, to give it a bit of numerical quantification, this is some work BBDO did recently in Europe. They reckon there's about 2,904, so spurious accuracy for you, but about 3,000 messages that consumers will see daily. You think, oh no, that's quite a lot. You think about it, you're waking up, you're watching breakfast TV, you're driving to work, you may fill the car up with petrol and there'll be an advert on the petrol nozzle. As you walk from the car into the work, there may be posters, etc., etc., etc. About 2,900 messages. To survive, we have to edit that stuff out. We only survive if we can edit all that noise out. And they reckon probably about 50 sort of make it through our defences and we pay attention to it. What we then actually engage on and maybe ponder for a nanosecond or two is probably half that again, it's about 25. And then what maybe we act upon, which really, ladies and gentlemen, is the purpose of what we do in the marketing profession, to get people to buy more stuff of what we sell, acting upon is perhaps about 3. It's tiny. And that's not just that consumers are responding to this absolute barrage of different messages. I think the Walker story is a relevant success benchmark. Back in 1990, of the crisp market, not the total salty market that was talked about earlier, the 40%, Walker's had a 30% share of the crisp market, equal with private label and other brands about 40%. Today, Walker's has a 70% share of the potato crisp market, and it's approaching £1 billion market. So that in anyone's book has been a rapid growth. And the other thing, it did absolute need in our business to have a blind product quality win over competitors has been the case for about 30 or 40 years, and we've continued to measure it, and it's a big problem if and when we don't get it. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the advertising in the world. A great advertising campaign featuring a lousy product means you get out of business quicker. For most of us, the stuff of our success is the repeat purchase, the customer loyalty that we achieve. The new parameter that's coming in is a great taste with no calories. That is a fundamental seismic shift in the cola category, and Pepsi and Coke are just about waking up to it. So, 5 lessons. Focus on core category benefits. What really people want and value, not necessarily your first point of call being a unique selling proposition. Continuous improvement is far better than delayed perfection. Marketeers reclaim our authority. We are all about growth. We can drive growth. That's where the money is. Let's claim our authority by thinking about the simple, common sense things that most of us, when we get a chance to think about it, know drives our business, as opposed to some of the orthodoxies that we've been taught, which frankly should be consigned to the rubbish bin. My pitch. Thanks very much for listening. I'll take some questions. Thanks.